I promised I'd be back next week, and here I am. This week we continue our look back on Transformers Generation 1, this time episode 4. I won't always go in order with these episodes, but this one introduces a lot of elements that continue throughout the show, so I thought it might be kind of necessary to touch on it. I also already did my background on the show in the previous episode, so I'm not going to repeat that all here. And if you haven't seen that first video or don't know anything about the G1 Transformers or the plot leading up to this episode, I'd recommend checking that out first. Anyway, for those of you who aren't familiar with G1 or need a refresher, it's basically just the G.I. Joe cartoon, but, better, and with robots. If you're like my girlfriend and also don't know what G.I. Joe was, then it's just basically the war on terror of the show. Just without all the ugly bits of actual war. Anyway, you're here for the show, so let's get on to the show. Season 1, Episode 4, Transport to the Elder Scrolls 4. We open with some narration that pretty much covers the background of the Transformers in a nutshell, which isn't nearly as good as my recap, but hey, it's not a competition. Optimus and Ironhide are just out chilling, watching a nice peaceful sunrise, when all of a sudden...
Look out! Decepticon! Cease fire! They're moving!
That's just a stupid boulder!
It's not just a boulder! It's a rock!
In all fairness though, what kind of a rock is just shaped like that? Cliffjumper and some of the others are a bit on edge, since the Decepticons haven't been seen since their ship went down 4 months ago. Optimus isn't so sure they've seen the last of them though, because he saw the end of the previous episode. Spoiler alert, he's right, and they've converted their down ship into an underwater base. Back on Cybertron, we see Shockwave again, and he's not doing too good. Cybertron is still running low on energy, but I just want to remind everyone that the first episode started with them leaving Cybertron for more energy 4 million years ago. If Cybertron is still kicking, then not only has this war gone on for literally millions of years, but Cybertron had enough energy to last another 4 million years, yet everyone was adamant that they needed to leave immediately to find a new power source.
Unless a new supply of energy is found, nobody is going to win this war.
You are fake news.
Anyway, Shockwave decides that after 4 million years of no contact, now would be a good time to give Megatron a ring.
Hello? Hello?
How'd you get this number? It's me, Lord Megatron, the guy you left in charge of our entire planet. Oh, hey bud, how are things going back there? Everything sucks and we are about to die, Lord Megatron. We invented this thing called a space bridge though, so could you mail us some Energon cubes, please? To get the Energon cubes they need, the Decepticons begin sapping all the energy from a solar power plant. This causes a blackout in the city nearby the Autobot base, pretty quickly alerting them to the Decepticons' presence. Somewhat but not that surprised to see that Megatron survived the crash, Optimus gathers up anyone who's available at the moment and heads off to stop them. The Autobots show up to thwart the Decepticons' energy collecting, which if you haven't noticed is something that pretty much has become a daily routine at this point. Cliffjumper wastes no time and gets straight to the point. Optimus and Megatron get into a bit of a scuffle, and Megatron goes into gun mode for Soundwave to fire, but Ironhide dives in and takes the shot for Prime. Now here's the situation. The Decepticons are considerably fighting better, while the Autobots are getting wounded and are fewer in numbers than before. Will Megatron A. press the advantage, B. negotiate favorable terms, or C. employ his signature strategy? Correct. Megatron opens negotiations. Yeah, just kidding, runs away. The bots choose not to pursue, and instead bring a wounded Ironhide back to base for repairs. I actually cut this part out of the previous video, but in episode 3, Ironhide gets severely wounded in battle as well, so he's the only Autobot to take considerable damage fighting thus far, and has happened twice across 2 episodes. I don't really have anything to add, I just had that observation. The Autobots know the Decepticons have no ship to get the cubes back to Cybertron with, so Spike and Bumblebee go scout around to find out how they plan to get the cubes off-world. They literally happen to stumble across them unintentionally because they head over to a dried-out riverbed to escape the sun, and the Decepticons just happen to have set up their space bridge there. Megatron and Shockwave describe the space bridge as creating a bridge between space, hence the name, and they are currently running a test. The space bridge can only operate for a short time before needing to recharge, so they fire up the device and send through a test vehicle. After passing through, the vehicle doesn't appear on Cybertron, making the test a failure. Starscream, never missing an opportunity to insult Megatron, says he'll find his own way to get the cubes to Cybertron. Megatron calls him an idiot and insists they simply need a person to go through in order to guide the vehicle. Okay class, can anyone raise their hand who'd like to pilot this thing into the possible empty void of nothingness? Come on, class, don't make me call on someone.
Dig out, Bumblebee!
Ah, Bumblebee, thanks for volunteering. Bumblebee and Spike are captured and loaded in as test pilots, but luckily for them, the space bridge powers down and needs to recharge.
Test run number 2 aborted.
With this window, Bumblebee transforms and breaks the 2 out, but Spike is unable to get away. Bumblebee tries to go back to the others, but Starscream chases him down and stuns him. Megatron gives Starscream a compliment for once in his life, but immediately follows it up with another insult just so he doesn't get too comfortable. Apparently Megatron can alter memories, so he changes Bumblebee's memory of the space bridge site, and Bumblebee reports back to the Autobots with this false information, saying the bridge is in a cave not too far off. Arriving at the cave, things seem suspicious, but when has Bumblebee ever been wrong? Right now, apparently. The Decepticons launch an ambush, blowing some rocks to seal a cave, and a tense battle occurs. Optimus saves Ironhide from getting severely wounded for the 3rd time in 2 episodes, and we learn that Megatron has a launchable buzzsaw to his wrist. Man, everyone in the show is just full of surprises. The Autobots start to get the upper hand in the fight, and Optimus bears down on Megatron. This ambush really isn't going too well, is it?
Hello? Hello?
Hey, I'm a bit busy at the moment. Can I call you back? No, Lord Megatron. The space bridge is ready to go, and I really don't feel like waiting. Not now, Shockwave. My parents aren't home, Lord Megatron. Starscream, blow open the cave. We need to go now.
Starscream? Retreat? Never!
You are fake news.
Starscream gives in and blows open the cave, allowing the Decepticons to flee and immediately seal it back up, trapping the Autobots inside. Don't know why they think that would hold them, since they were able to break out themselves, but oh well. The Decepticons head to the space bridge site, and Ratchet checks in on a wounded Bumblebee. He somehow sees that Bumblebee's memory has been altered, and so he corrects it, allowing Bumblebee to give them the actual location of the space bridge. Unsurprisingly, the Autobots break out by doing the same thing the Decepticons did, and they head for the riverbed. The Decepticons load up Spike into the new test vehicle along with some Energon cubes and prep him for transport. Okay, so don't worry too much, kiddo. It's just like driving a car. But I don't have my license. Oh, well, in that case, you're probably fucked. The Autobots have arrived just in time. The Decepticons head to cover while the transport begins to move towards the space bridge. Optimus shoots the cockpit hatch open and blasts the harness off. Wait. Well, what kind of godlike accuracy was that? You're telling me you can't reliably hit a Decepticon in battle, but you can snipe the tiny harness twice up a moving vehicle with enough confidence that you won't hit the very vulnerable human underneath the harness? Miraculously, Spike is not obliterated and hops off onto Bumblebee. The transport derails and collides into the space bridge, so Megatron takes it upon himself to get the cubes through. Fortunately for everyone not named Megatron, the bridge goes off and he is transported off into space. You know what that means? Oh yeah, Starscream gets to lead the Decepticons. Now maybe he can really turn this franchise team around. As his first act as leader, Starscream follows in his master's footsteps. He would have been so proud.
Starscream? Retreat? Never!
This is the happiest day of my life. Megatron fell into his own space bridge. He's lost forever.
Meanwhile, on Cybertron...
Get fucked. The Transformers will return after these messages.
Stand back, Bumblebee! It's my turn at bat! You're out!
We now return to the Transformers.
Thank you all for watching, and make sure to like and comment because engagement really does help. Comments in particular really motivate me and help improve my content. Sharing it too would be amazing, since I am such a small channel, any exposure or additional views really helps a ton. Remember, you can always leave suggestions down below. Thank you all, see you next week.